creative people are confidently doubting. They think, I'm going to do what I think is right, but what if that is wrong?
Okay, and so they're open to the fact that they have to be flexible in case they have to change course, right?
You need the ability to say, wait a minute, this is the way we're going to go. Wait a minute, that looks wrong. Let's change. You need to be pragmatic. You need to be doubting yourself. You need to be questioning yourself. That what if we do this? What if I'm right? What if I'm wrong? What if this happens? What if? So confidently doubting and doubtfully confident, that is the creative sweet spot.
Welcome to Season 5 of Manage Self, Lead Others with host Nina Sunday. This season we're going deeper into AI, innovation, and the invisible patterns that shape how we lead. Each episode, bold thinkers join us to explore how to lead with intention, elevate team culture, and stay future ready. The future of leadership starts with the questions we ask.
Are you curious about your own creative potential? In this episode, we'll explore how to unlock it. My guest is Fredrik Härén, the creativity explorer, whose latest book, The World of Creativity, takes us on a journey across 37 countries to discover the secrets of creative minds. Together we'll look at what creativity means across cultures and professions and how universal principles of creativity can help us solve today's challenges. By the end, you'll expand your own understanding of what creativity really is. Welcome to this special two-part episode on creativity. In part one, we'll begin exploring the fascinating world of creative minds from around the globe with Fredrik Härén. Stay tuned for part two, a separate episode where we'll dive even deeper into the secrets and practical insights to unlock your own creative potential. Welcome, Fredrik Härén.
Thank you very much.
Well, I want to say I love your book.
Oh, thank you.
I adore this book. It's a book I didn't know I was waiting to read until I saw it. I started reading it and I went, this is the book I've always wanted to read.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to hear that.
That's why we're not going to get through it all in just one podcast episode. So the listener can be forewarned that we will be having a part two as a separate episode. And what I loved is you've gone all around the world. Is that right?
Yeah, that is kind of my thing. So I'm the creativity. I define myself as the creativity explorer, and I spent 25 years traveling around the world to interview people about creativity. So thousands of people, 75 countries, 6 continents. And then I decided I need to take some of these stories and put it in a book. So it turned out it's 37 chapters, 37 people, 37 insights that they taught me about creativity. That's the book. Someone who read it just called it the Anthony Bourdain of creativity. I think that's a really good description.
We've got actually a series on embedding innovation in culture, workplace culture, and awakening creativity. To give people the overarching design of your book, and its actual title is The World of Creativity.
The World of Creativity, yes.
What you've done is you've actually identified 37 different ways that different cultures in all the continents of the world express creativity in a lot of ways are just little small ways. So we're going to touch on a number of them in this episode, and we'll have to just see if we can touch on the rest in the second episode, which will be published sometime subsequently. I picked out what I think are my favourite ones, and this one I've actually read deeply because you've sent me advance copy, and I appreciate that. But I just like the thought of Find the Path, Athens, Greece. Explain Find the Path.
Yes, I just want to correct you a little bit. The book is not specifically about how different cultures approach creativity. Some of them are, but it's basically lessons in creativity that people in different countries and different cultures taught me. So in this example, for example, the Greece example is not specifically about Greece culture. It's a Greek marketing manager I interviewed, and she gave her view on creativity.
Lovely.
And she described it, as you said, she describes it as a path. And I really like this because a lot of people who feel they are not creative, they focus on when they fail. But she was describing it as creative, like a mouse going through a maze. And if a mouse goes through a maze and comes to a dead end, that is not that's not a failure. It's not a mistake. It's a one way to find out that this is not the way out of the maze. Now we know we're not supposed to go there. Then we go turn around and we go another way. And at the end, you cannot come out of a maze without coming to learning from those dead ends. So that's the first interesting insight, because if you look at it that way, there is no failure, right? And that is, and a lot of people say, oh, to be creative, you need to fail. Well, actually not. To be creative, you need to try. And then some of the times it doesn't work. It's the trying that is the key word, not the failing. And then the second lesson she was talking about was that the path in itself, finding the path, is what creativity is the process. It's not the end result. So, and I don't remember if this is in the book or if that's what you told. We were talking about water, and if a water hits a stone, the water will just go around the stone and continue on its path. And if we look at creativity that way, we will not think, oh, I hit a rock. We will think, how do I go around this rock? It's the fact that something is stopping me is not the key of my creative process. The key of the creative process is to find a way to go around that. And then
to believe or to have certainty that there is a way to solve this problem. There is a way to get around this this constraint.
Exactly. Yes. There is that, and that it's the search for that path. And then maybe once in a while you will never, I mean, sometimes we never come to an end. We don't find a way out of and that's okay too. But the key here is creativity is the process, not the end result.
Lovely.
And when we realize that, we become much freer to focus on the process itself.
Well, now Japan has a lot of creative concepts like Kaizen for continuous improvement and Ikigai and things like that, like something that's broken, you make it, you decorate it so it looks acceptable. Oh, yes, Kai Takusha.
Yes.
Kai Takusha.
So this is an interview with a very creative creative director at an advertising agency in Japan. But she talked about, we were talking about all those, as you mentioned, like Kaizen and all those famous Japanese concepts around creativity. Yeah. But then she described this, which translates into cultivating the future. Yeah. And it's different from being a pioneer. We don't really, I love words that have no other meaning, like a language that has a word that no other language has a word for.
That's right. Isn't that interesting?
There's a book, actually. There's a whole book. It's called They Have a Word for It. And it's a dictionary of only words that exist in one language. It's a brilliant book. So, so this is one word that the Japanese have that we don't have in Swedish or in English. And it means cultivating the future. Yeah. Now, you could say, well, we have pioneer, but it's different. And actually, if you look at I'm a huge etymology fan. So if you look at the etymology of the word pioneer, it means the one that goes first. And who was it that went first? It was the foot soldiers in the war. So basically, pioneers is cannon fodder. It's the one you send first, and then they get killed. Who wants to be a pioneer? It's not just about going first. The Japanese word is cultivating the future, means that you lead the way. So this mentality of seeing something new and bringing it back to your people so that you bring them along with you, it's a much more powerful concept than just early adopter or pioneer.
Exactly. It's got generosity of spirit with it as well, because I know some people who hoard knowledge and they go, oh, I'm not going to tell people, I'm the one that found out. It's like, well, that's being a hoarder. So we want to have that generosity. All right, I do want to get onto the doing quotient, because you talk about IQ, which measures cognitive ability, and EQ, which is emotional intelligence, and DQ is the intelligence of getting things done. That's fabulous.
It should really, I love how EQ became a thing, because
Yeah.
suddenly if IQ was a thing, I love that IQ also became a thing, but then EQ, and we looked at the world differently. And then DQ stand for the doing quotient. And it's the fact that some people just have the ability to get things done. And it's not necessarily the most intelligent person. And I think I write in the book that the person I would rather invest in is not the person with the highest IQ, but the person with the highest ability to make things happen. And I think as soon as we realize this, we all know these people in our networks, the people who just say, oh, let's have a party, and they create a party, like they make it happen.
They can do it. But there's also CQ, isn't there, which is curiosity quotient.
Oh, I'm sure there is. I don't write about it, but I do write about curiosity in the book. That is the first chapter, maybe because it sets the scene. The main purpose of this whole book is to be more curious about the world, because we get a different perspective of what creativity is if we look at how other people around the world look at creativity.
And you do open with talking about Iceland's Helmskur, or however you say it, and Brussels has Perspective. Now, Helmskur is a little bit staying inside your own world, is that right?
Yeah, so Heimskr is a very old Icelandic word from the Viking age, and they still use it today. Heimskr was a Viking that, if you were a Viking, you're supposed to build a ship and sail down to the rest of Europe. And, steal as much as you could. Not just things, but also ideas. How do they farm in Denmark? How do they make weapons in Germany? And then you're supposed to bring that stuff and those ideas back to Iceland. If you did not do that, you were a heimsker. And heimsker means moron, stupid person. And the word heim is the same as the English word home. So heimsker, someone who stays at home becomes stupid. That's the lesson. Right. And it's a metaphor, of course. It also means don't stay in your industry. Look at what other industries are doing. But also look at what your industry is doing all around the world.
Absolutely. Now, you talk about Bhutan. And I actually recently saw a TV program where Anthony Bourdain went to Bhutan and the strange mountain roads, and they were drinking cordyceps tea, which is a health food now, cordyceps mushroom. And it was just very, very, and I believe they're considered the happiest people in the world. So you talk about fractaling in Bhutan. So how does that work?
Yes, and I need to correct you though. They are not the happiest people on the planet, but they have focused on becoming happier. The goal is not that they're bragging we are the happiest. It's that we have understood that we should focus building our country that in a way that makes us happier, which is actually more profound and more important. They're not unhappy. They're just not the happiest, but they are extremely content. I mean, you go there and your heart rate just goes down. It is really the Shangri-La of the world. I love it. The former minister of tourism of Bhutan, which I met and interviewed, because that is the essence of Bhutan to me. He said to me, Fredrik, you Westerners, you think creativity is about output. You talk about expressing yourself, a creative expression. Look at this is who I am. Look at my artwork. I'm expressing myself. And he said, you got it all wrong. Creativity is not about an outward motion. It is an inward motion. Creativity is about understanding yourself. And I go, whoa, that is so profound. And it's so true, because you think about anything truly creative that you've done. And you tell me that you didn't learn something profound about yourself while doing that. And the other way around, if you do something and you do not learn something about yourself, it wasn't much of a creative project, was it? And when you look at creativity this way, again, failure doesn't matter. Like if you decide to write a book and at the end you never publish it because you can't finish it, but you learned something about yourself writing that book, was it a failure? Of course not, because you learned something about yourself.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about the hostage negotiator's technique of using positivity to stay creative. I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in that.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite people because she's so cool. She's this middle-aged lady who has worked on over 600 hostage negotiations for Scotland Yard, like taking Yeah, like basically her job is call up someone who wants money or something, or they're going to kill someone, and they don't want to talk to her. But her job is to find out something, and her job is to get the hostage out without paying. It's an impossible task. But she had such a wonderful approach. She said, the people I talk to, they don't want to give me any information. They don't want to tell me their names, and I need to find out who they are, what they want, and where they are so we can rescue them. How do I do that? And she said, the trick is to get rid of all the negative thoughts. And I said, wait a minute, what do you mean? You're supposed to just put on, what is the English word, those rose-tinted glasses? And she goes, no. Yeah, she said, it's not about having this delusional mindset. It's about taking away all the negative thoughts. Like, what if I say something wrong and they die? Because she said, and here's the key, she said, they will slip once in a phone call and they will give me this slight hint of a clue. Maybe I can hear a train in the background or a bird, and this bird only grows, or they say one word. And if I have a negative thought in my head, I won't pick that up. So I can only think positive thoughts and say, I need to find the clue. And any negative thought would kill your creativity. That doesn't mean you're not supposed to be skeptical or pay attention or be careful, but to have this extreme, and if you think about it, if you're solving a puzzle, it's the same thing. Like if you see 1,000 pieces on the table, you're not going, I'm never going to find that piece. It's not going to help you. But if you go, I know it's there, I can see it, I know it's there, I can see it. And that's how we see that piece among 1,000 pieces. Oh, there it is. I found it, I put it in.
And yeah, I know. I've been in a costume shop once asking for a particular sort of gloves, and the woman said, we don't have them. I said, do you mind if I have a look? Because I just feel it's here. And I found 2 pair.
And that's
so I just went, I know it's here. It has to be. I'm going to keep looking till I find it.
And creativity is that. Creativity is that I know it's back to the Greek woman, that it's the path. I know there's a path and I'm going to find it. At least I'm going to search for it. And if the opposite is someone that says, I don't think there's a path, I'm not going to go out looking, then you're never going to create anything.
Let's talk about Sweden. Humbly confident or confidentially humble like a Swede.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Creativity is such a paradoxical thing that you can say one thing, but the opposite is also true. So for example, you could say, be positive, like have a positive mindset. It's there. And like you said, doubt didn't do anything. But the story about the Swedish, the lesson from Sweden, and I am from Sweden, is about doubt. It's that Sweden is the 3rd most creative country in the world. We are extremely successful and we have a lot of innovation. Why do we have that? It's because we have a specific mindset, which I call confidently doubting. We at the same time think Sweden is the best country in the world. Everyone wants to be like Sweden, Scandinavia, we're great. On the other hand, we think everyone is better than us. And creativity is this sweet spot. It's thinking that everyone is going in this direction, and you are going to say, screw those people, I'm going to go in this direction. That's what creativity is, the road diverged in the forest and I took the road less traveled.
That's right.
To do that, you need confidence. Everyone goes this way, I don't care, I'm going to go this way. So for creativity, you need confidence. But truly creative people think like this. Everyone is walking in this direction, I'm going to walk in this direction. Wait a minute, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should walk in that direction, maybe in this direction, maybe in that direction, maybe in this direction. Creative people are confidently doubting. They think, I'm going to do what I think is right, but what if that is wrong?
Okay, and so they're open to the fact that they have to be flexible in case they have to change course. Right.
You need the ability to say, wait a minute, this is the way we're going to go. Wait a minute, that looks wrong. Let's change. You need to be pragmatic. You need to be doubting yourself. You need to be questioning yourself. Now, what if we do this? What if I'm right? What if I'm wrong? What if this happens? What if? So confidently doubting and doubtfully confident, that is the creative sweet spot. And then you have these people who are super confident, and never doubts anything. And once in a while, yes, we have those people and they succeed, but they are outliers. Most creative people are actually are full of confident doubt.
Right, got it. And of course, Albania talks about, now I haven't got the word, Lestel, which is to know when to end. How do you say it?
Yeah, good question. It's Albanian. I don't know how to say it either.
Tetelestel.
Yeah, let's say that. But it's me. I think it's Greek for I am done, and it's a beautiful story because I interviewed a mosaic artist. He makes these huge mosaics with like 500,000 nails to create the face of Leonardo da Vinci, or some, or 350,000 staples to create the face of Mona Lisa, or a horse, or something like huge, 5 meter times 4 meters. So I thought this was a perfect person to talk to, because I said, how on earth you put in 1 million nails, or you put in 397,000 nails. How do you know not to put in the 379,000 first nail? Like, how do you know when to stop? Everyone talks about starting the creative process, but we seldom talk about finishing it. And he said that the art piece will talk back to him and said, now you are done. Don't put another nail in. So I put one more nail in, one more nail in, one more, 500,000 nails. And then suddenly the piece just says, you're done, stop. And he needs to pay attention to that moment. But this moment, knowing when to finish, is more of a calm, not a whisper, but it's a calm voice saying, you're done.
You've got these reflective questions all the way through. What is one thing that you have been doing for a long time that it's now time to stop doing? Well, on that closing thought, we'll finish this episode, and I'll be inviting you back for a part 2 because there's so much more in your book worth discovering. Thank you so much, Fredrik Härén. You are an amazing human being and you've got a lot to share with the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
This episode, we've been speaking with Fredrik Härén on the Manage Self, Lead Others podcast. You'll find a link to Fredrik Härén's upcoming book, The World of Creativity, in the show notes, plus links to contact. I'm your host, Nina Sunday. Connect with me on LinkedIn with a comment about how you enjoy the show. You can go to Apple or Spotify podcasts to rate it 5-star, perhaps even leave a short review. Thank you for listening. Until next time, bye for now.
Manage Self, Lead Others has launched the book. It's available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle. Not just a collection of transcripts, Nina Sunday adds her own reflections about each guest conversation. Plus, you might like to join Nina on her Substack channel, ninasunday.substack.com, for candid, behind-the-scenes conversations with 2 sharp AI hosts who riff, question, and bounce around ideas sparked by the published podcast episode. And if you're looking for a conference speaker or workshop facilitator who can up-level your team in Australia or around the world, visit brainpowertraining.com.au or ninasunday.com.